Joshua is in Vancouver. Hi, Joshua. Welcome to the podcast. What's up?
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm Joshua. I'm in the tourism business in Vancouver. I've just got a bit of a dilemma with a business partner I was hoping you can maybe help me with.
I'll try. Tell me about it.
So we started our business back in 2018, just a handshake agreement because we were young and didn't really know what we were doing. It was me and my brother and a friend of ours. During the pandemic in the tourism industry, kind of decimated our business. And so our business partner decided to leave the business. He said he didn't, enjoy working with me and my brother like he thought he had. And he said he wanted out. At that time, our business was really worth nothing. And so we didn't really think much of it until my brother and I started working in the business again and building it up. Last year, our revenue was about $800,000. And this year we're projected to be about 2.1 million. So we're growing it, quite drastically. And from the beginning, we had this agreement with our friend.
The whole thing's a handshake.
Yeah, just a handshake, exactly.
So what ownership entity owns the business?
So we all own it 33%. We do have a shareholder.
Oh, so it's not just a handshake. You actually have a written document that is an ownership, and this goober owns 1/3 of it, and he walked away, and you did not take it back from him.
That's right, yeah. And
why?
Since then we've been trying to, but he hasn't been responding. We've been trying to for the last 2 years. In 2021, he offered us to write off his debt. The company was upside down, and he said he'll sell it to us for. He was asking for us to buy it off him for $60,000, and the business was worth negative $200,000. So it's like we weren't willing to do that at that time. Now, I mean, the business is on the right side of things, but yeah, it's not. We're kicking ourselves, obviously.
Okay, so he walked away, has provided the original handshake agreement, God help you guys, was that you guys, the three of you guys, went out to happy hour and had a couple beers and decided to open a business, and everybody's going to work in it, and then he decided he didn't want to work in it.
Yeah, exactly.
And he walked away, so he lost his ownership at that point. Because this was all predicated on all three of you carrying water.
Right.
And he quit carrying water 3 years ago.
So, I mean, I guess
I'm asking, is that the deal?
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. But I'm worried that we might find ourselves in a lawsuit of him saying, well, hey, I still own a share of this. You haven't actually bought out my shares.
You do. He does technically own the shares of that
right.
of that company. So what would I do? I would close that entity down and open up another one that looks exactly like it that you and your brother own.
Yeah, we've thought of that too. Is there any risk to that, like opening up another company that looks the exact same and him saying, well, hey, they're still operating the same business as we had before. They're just opening up. There is no operating agreement. There is no general partnership agreement. This guy can sue you because anybody can sue anybody for anything, but that doesn't mean he can win. There's always a risk. But that's the problem with stupid butt partnerships. Partnership is the only ship that won't sail. And so it's why we tell people to never do this, because it always goes sideways like this. So the number of general partnerships in small business that survive 1 decade is almost zero. It's very close to zero. And so what you're experiencing is classic case study of how to not do things, how to not do a deal. With no written documentation of any kind, no exit strategies, nothing covered for divorce, disability, death, disinterest, default. And he's definitely in the disinterest and default category. But the morally, and for that matter, you'd have to talk to an attorney, but in my mind, legally, this thing, the handshake agreement that led to a 33% ownership was predicated on all three of you working
and adding value to the business. He ceased to do that 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so he ceased to validate his ownership 3 years ago. So if he wants to sue you for shutting this down, fine, but I would shut it down tomorrow. Like, you said it's a travel company?
We do tours, so we do biking tours, walking tours.
Okay, so let's pretend that your current company, I don't want you to name it, but let's pretend that it was named after the first three initials of the three guys, J, B, and C Tours. Okay, I'm going to reopen J and B Tours tomorrow and take over the same URL, the same website, the SEO, everything. I'm going to step right into all of it and just close the other one down and let it sit. It's just sitting there as a shell that owns nothing and operates nothing and creates no income. There's no way I'm going to grow a business with this guy owning 1/3 of it.
Well, that's nice to hear. Yeah, I mean, because that was what we were thinking of doing, and I don't know. I feel like is there a moral obligation? Like,
no, you do not have a moral obligation. His moral obligation was to work and do 1/3 of the work. He has not done that. He's not fulfilled his moral obligation. He is in default.
Yeah.
Your moral obligation to him left when he went into default, when he no longer did his part. You don't get to form something based on we all work in it, and then you don't work in it anymore, but you want to cash in like a dadgum parasite, like a tick on the butt of the organization.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
Yeah. He's definitely hindering the growth of the business. And
no, he's not. He's not doing anything.
Yeah.
He isn't hindering anything. He's just making y'all worry about what he might do someday, and you're worried that you might be growing his 1/3 and that someday he gets to cash in on all your work, and that's a valid worry. I would shut that crap down. Now, if you want to do one thing, you can. It's up to you. But it sounds like you've got contact with him. But I would sit down, the two of you, with a cup of coffee with him and say, all right, dude, here's the deal. The deal that we did for 1/3 was based on the fact that all three of us work and cause the business to grow. You don't work here anymore. And so we are getting ready to close the business down and reopen in another name and keep going without you. And you're going to get zero. However, in the name of our former friendship and in the name of not having to fool with all that, we'll offer you $10,000 today in cash right this second to sign over your shares. If you don't, your shares are going to be worth zero because I'm closing it tomorrow. That would, in person, both of you brothers looking at Goober and telling him the way it is.
I would love that. But the only communication we've had with him is actually through his lawyer, though. He hasn't responded to a call or an email.
Oh, he has a lawyer.
His dad is a lawyer.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Then I take back everything I said. Freaking hate lawyers.
Yeah, and we have an email communication from him and his dad. And his dad.
You know the difference between a catfish and a lawyer? One of them's a scum-sucking bottom feeder, and the other one's a fish. Oh, God. Unbelievable. Yeah. No, you need to just shut it down. Go get you an attorney and reset your ownership and reopen tomorrow in a different, slightly altered name and move on. And then do expect his dad to come after you, but good luck. He's gonna have he won't. He's gonna try to bluster and be his BA lawyer crap, and then I'm gonna hire an attorney and just fight him to the death. No, you're not wrong. And don't be sitting there growing a business and giving 1/3 of it to a parasite because his father's a lawyer. No way. Not intimidated. Quite the opposite. Now I'm pissed. Long way from intimidated. Now I'm ready to fight. So, no.
close it tomorrow, Joshua, and get an attorney, reopen in a different entity name, slightly change it, scarf all the SEO and move it over there. There's nothing he can do about it. He has no basis for this. He will lose. That's my opinion. I'm not an attorney. If you want to get a legal opinion, you can get one from one of those catfish people. This is the EntreLeadership podcast.